Welcome to today's episode of the Business Hammer brought to you by Yellowfin Digital. Today I have Mike Dowling with me. Mike, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
Absolutely. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your business?
Okay, my name's Mike Dowling. I'm the owner and founder of Mike's Landscaping. I live here in Rhode Island, near Massachusetts in the Northeast. I started for myself about 10 years ago. I started with a pickup truck and a push mower, and I had a job working for a steel company. I love doing it. We used to erect buildings all over the country. They laid me off because they had, they overspent and they didn't manage well. So I had landscape previous for a bunch of different guys. I have a million friends that are landscapers. And, my landlord actually approached me at the time I was renting a house, and he said, "Do you want to cut these 4 lawns?" Because he knew I worked with my buddy's father. So I said, sure, why not? Extra money, save some money, whatever. Ended up now I have probably about a 300 customer base. We do about 200 lawns last year on a regular basis. I tried running 3 crews last year, 2 cut crews and a landscape crew, which I ran. And we're just, I grow every year. It's been pretty good. So we're just, always trying to, rein it in and make it, smooth and streamlined. And that's pretty much it. So, I kind of started with no business plan or no, I just could landscape, and I knew that some of the stuff I saw these guys do, I could just do better, like answering the phone. Simple as that. I had one guy, he wouldn't answer the phone.
Yep.
His customers would leave him messages for weeks. And I'm thinking to myself, how did he keep customers?
Yep.
And the first thing I always do, and I still do, is answer the phone.
Yep. No, you're absolutely correct. I always say when it comes to any service-based business, you just got to show up. Like, show up when you're supposed to be there, show up, answer the phone when you're supposed to answer the phone, and you already have a leg up on the majority of the competition. That kind of makes you top tier just because you showed up. You came when you were supposed to, and you answered your phone when it rang. What a concept, right?
Yeah, I just figured I could do it a little better than they did.
Sure. That's great. So you went from push mower to 3 crews. So that's pretty good over a 10-year period. You said 300 customer base.
Yeah, I do like 200 regular customers. And then I have at least another 100 people I'll do either cleanups for, or projects, or mulch, or snow removal, or, because I try to run it, we don't do much landscaping up here in the winter because
it's
the weather just, but some years we do. I've been out in the middle of January on a 6-degree day doing a cleanup for a flipper.
Sure.
Fine by me, it's just not as consistent during the winter. So that's why we do the snow,
Yeah, absolutely. No, like I was telling you before we came on, I had a landscaping business. It was in East Tennessee, though. That's where I grew up. And I hated it in the wintertime when it got cold enough to freeze the ground, because then my landscaping stopped. But we didn't have snow removal, because it doesn't snow enough.
Yeah, it doesn't snow.
So there'd be times it'd be like 2 weeks just sitting around going, anything.
I remember. Yeah, my first winter, I think we snowblowed. I only had snowblowers. I didn't even have a plow. I had a 2-wheel drive truck. That same pickup I started with, we loaded the snowblowers in, and we go out and do 18 driveways when it stopped snowing.
Oh, wow.
It was great, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes it wasn't bad, because when else do you get to rip equipment at 3 a.m. in the middle of a residential area, and nobody really has a problem with it?
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what percentage of your business is mowing, maintenance type stuff versus landscaping?
Probably 65, 35. Most of the stuff comes, a lot of my stuff comes from my regular customers with the mowing. They'll have me do the mulch. They'll have me do the bushes. They'll have me do the cleanups. They'll have me do fertilizer or yard renovations. We like to do a lot. I love doing lawn renos. I love doing, making somebody's lawn from worst to first. I enjoy that. So I guess it just depends on the year. The last 2 years, it's just been so crazy. Everything. There's just from soup to nuts. We do it all.
Yeah.
I've been, I got a pretty good commercial base now.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah, I
What?
love, we really like commercial work a lot.
Sure. What percentage is commercial versus residential?
Probably 20%,
Okay.
80-20.
Sure.
Still a lot of residents, but I gain every year.
Sure.
Um, I might take one or two properties from a property management company. This year I've been working for Dentco, which is they're a really big property management company.
Hmm.
Been doing a men's warehouse for them. So I did the landscaping and they gave me the snow.
Oh, that's
And they
good.
gave me a few other things. Like they gave me a big cleanup at a Dollar Tree. They were opening. They sent me out a work order and I gave them a price and they approved it. So I went. The only thing with that is they only pay you every 2 months. So,
Sure. Sure. Yeah, it's not great for sure. So, how do you get most of your new clients? What type of marketing do you do?
all right. So I started before. That's the one thing I guess I had the vision, the
Mhm.
foresight to do is I started up and there's some companies in this town. I live in the second largest city in the state. So it's not a big state. 20 miles for you is nothing. For us, that's a haul. That is
Right.
a haul. 20 miles for me. I'm like, I can go within a 5 mile radius of my house and probably hit 90 customers.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
It's not, we're a lot tighter, but
Sure.
even when I travel down to like South County, because the way it's set up, the bay down to the ocean, a lot of higher end properties, a lot of out of state people come in and they've been buying up property in South County because it's along the water and it's very nice. So I mean, I'll go down there. I just set it up by the day, but a lot of it I set up like a Google business page before this company that the guy's been in business probably 30 years. He has over 50 guys working for him.
Oh, wow.
Huge. My Google business page, his son just started taking over the last couple of years. My business page was coming up higher than his.
Wow.
Because they just started. Mine was there. I come up pretty high. I bought a lady actually. I think it's my third incarnation of the website. I trade. So I've had a website, Instagram. I used to advertise in the local paper. They have it's in 3 towns, so you
Mhm.
pay and it's twice a week, and you pay for the month, so you get exposure in 3 towns. It's just having everywhere I can put one. If you look on Yelp, there's a listing for me, Angie's List, just all over. I tried to spread it around. I've had a few people try to market for me, but I don't know. Some of them don't really realize exactly what I'm looking for. At this point, I'm not looking to spend 2,000 a month to have somebody market for me when I actually last year, with the help being what it was, I actually couldn't even do all the work that was offered to me.
Sure.
So, as far as that goes, the phone rings quite a bit. So
That's
I
great.
think it's from the big digital footprint I have because I'm easily found on any platform that people will be looking for somebody.
Sure. Sure. Yeah,
You
that's really
know,
good. So, one thing, like I was telling you, we have the handyman business down here that we do as well in South Texas. And obviously, like many other people across the country, we've had trouble finding employees, good or
Mm.
bad, really, just finding bodies. How is that
Yeah,
up in the Northeast? Same thing, I assume.
it wasn't great this last year. No, nobody had help. I've known there was guys that actually cut down. They wouldn't do any biweekly mowing, and
Yeah.
because he couldn't get guys in the sea, I couldn't get somebody responsible. It's like I had ran a second cut crew last year. I thought that I would. I thought the numbers would, be a lot better than they were. But when you don't have help showing up, and
Yep.
you got a crew chief, and you got 2 or 3 guys calling out and only making it 3 out of 6 days,
Yeah.
it's hard to get stuff done.
Yeah. It really is. I
So,
mean,
and then the people that do want to do it, they're all mowing grass. I get it. It's a hard job. It's not the easiest
sure.
job, but I have good equipment. It's not like I'm out I've worked with hairs about. It's hard because now I'm out. They all think, well, I have no experience. I want $18 an hour to walk in the door.
Sure.
And I laugh and I tell them $18. I said, yeah, I used to do this for $9 an hour, guy.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I found that's the other thing is that the people, and then they don't show up every day and you can't count on them. So why bother paying them? And there's only so much you can pay somebody to cut lawns because the market's only going to bear so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being in a small market, I know what everybody's pricing is. I know what the competition is charging. Where sometimes like you might have, you're in Texas, so where you are, that is good about being in a small state is that I have an idea of what everybody's charging for services. Sure. But everybody goes to pretty much the same places to get the materials, so materials cost is pretty much the same all around. Everybody's paying, pretty much, yeah. There's a little variation in prices from place to place and quality as well. So
yeah, so I mean, so for you, if that being the case, I mean, you have to do a much better job, I assume, just with your customer service to make yourself stand out. Because if everybody's the same price, what do you stand on? What makes you different? What makes you better, right?
Yep. And now because I've been to some of these customers for such a long time, and I've been going to them and I've had to raise prices because everything that's going on, obviously gas, insurance, labor, maintenance, repairs, truck parts are costing, what used to cost me $1,000 now cost me $2,000. I just got I just got a call yesterday. My 350 dump, the transmission failed. We had a blizzard 2 weeks ago. We had, I don't know, anywhere from 18 to 2 feet of snow. So now I got the call yesterday. It's going to cost me $3,300 to get it fixed.
Jeez.
It's like, so it's tough, but I've been raising prices, but my customers have come to count and rely on me and know I'll be there.
Sure.
With snow, it's tough because everybody wants to be first. Everybody wants to be done. They all get done. I tell them, it's rough. There's always something that goes on. If I set 3 trucks out, if I make all 3 trucks back from the storm, I'm thinking I'm ahead of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I get them all done. So they all get done. I tell them I'll be there. I try to, I set up the routes and we just run the route. It's that's a little tough. The customers get a little testy with the snow, but we get there,
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the one thing that you wish you would have known before getting into business for yourself?
There's a lot of things I wish I knew before. Like I said, I didn't really, I definitely think I would have wanted to have a better grasp on where I was going, like in the future, as far as cost and what it really takes to run the business. I've learned, I'm happy because I learned a lot of lessons the very hard way.
Yeah.
But I live and learn. And I think it made me a better person, a better business owner, and a better boss.
Sure.
But I definitely would have had like maybe a better plan to go into it as to where I wanted to be year 2, year 5, year 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times, well, like in your case, it was, hey, I got to do something. I got laid off. So here we go. I got to start making some money. So you don't necessarily have
I was collecting unemployment, but I knew that wasn't going to last forever. So I set my duff. So I went out. I worked 2 shifts at a gas station pumping gas. I worked for my buddy's father cutting lawns with his brother. And then I would cut my own lawns. And then, it started to be where the other guy, his son and the other guy that working for him, they like to do, they were into some bad stuff. And, I had a family and a schedule and things I wanted to do. So I was ready to go at 7:30 in the morning.
Sure.
Well, when you're calling me at the 3rd of July at 11 a.m. to let's start now after I've been calling you for 3 hours, that was the day I said, you know what? I don't need these guys. I could do this on my own. And I cut the cord completely and just started working. And that's just, impressive, and I never looked back.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
It's tough. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys get beat down. They do 1 year, the stuff starts breaking, you're using old
Yep.
equipment, you're using used equipment. You got to start somewhere. There's
Yep.
no need to go out and buy a $10,000 mower when you have 8 accounts.
Yep. Yep.
You get 2 used push mowers, a used blower, and a used weed whacker, and you
go.
send it.
Yep.
You send
agree.
it. And everything I have, the company built up to and
Sure.
bought as we went along, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's hard because either you have to buy old stuff that breaks and you have to fix it or pay to fix it, or you go buy a bunch of new stuff that you actually can't afford. So
Plenty of times where I paid the guys, I paid the bills, and I came
Yep.
home with nothing.
Yep.
And
Been there,
it's
done
tough.
that.
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, it
But
really
you
is.
know, if you have enough, you gotta have the wherewithal, you gotta have the resolve. And I'm sure that's the same way in a lot of businesses, you know, especially starting out. There's so many things. I got stories about, you know, the trailer coming off the ball and
Oh, yeah.
rear end of my truck on the middle of the highway. I had to pick it up, put it on.
Yep.
You know, all these things you learn. Just happens, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All the fun stories of the stupid stuff we did. I left my keys to my warehouse sitting on my bumper, and I drove about 40 miles. And they were still there when I got to the warehouse.
That was a good
that was
day
a
right
God
there.
thing. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I walked back there. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, somebody was looking out for you that day.
Golly.
But I've done that. We've been like, we drove somewhere and I'm like, what the heck? I said, how did that make it all the way here?
Yep.
And the roads around here are rough.
Oh yeah.
You know, because like you said, you don't get as much bad weather down there. It gets
Sure.
cold. But up here, you know, I mean, it's like,
Just
I
breaks
don't know if
everything
you've
up.
ever been up this way. Oh my God, you'd be
Yep.
like, what the heck am I driving on?
Right.
You've got dirt roads out there that are smoother than our main roads.
That's funny. I like it.
it.
Awesome. Well, is there any other piece of advice that you think that somebody could benefit from?
I think, you know, sometimes when you get really overwhelmed, you get really frustrated, just take a step back. It's okay to walk away for an hour.
Yeah.
It's okay to go regroup. Because if you're frustrated, and believe me, I get frustrated. I have zero patience. I'm just like headlong. I'm the guy that I just want to crash through the door.
Sure.
That's just, you know, I'm like, everything's a nail and I'm a hammer.
Yep.
But sometimes you just got to take a step back, regroup, breathe, go back at it. And it's just so much better. I gotta learn just to take a break sometimes, because otherwise it's just going to be so stressful. You're just going to work yourself into a frenzy and you'll never get anything done.
Yeah, that's great advice. I like it. Well, sir, I appreciate you joining me today and sharing your advice and just kind of your experience with our audience, with myself and our audience, and really appreciate your time.
All right, I appreciate doing it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon.
All right, you have a good day.